Now, throughout the years, Nintendo has released a number of amazing games that everyone has seen in their life at least once. A good example is the Mario Kart series, which is all about racing fun, accompanied by wacky items and racing tracks. And I gotta say, these games are always entertaining. And every time they released a new title, it certainly improved upon the last one. With one thing always being the most fun: the items. So today we will be looking at how they evolved in the series. Because believe me, they added some crazy ones, but also got rid of a lot. Now all of this started with Super Mario Kart for the SNES, being the first in the series and released in 1992. And in this game we got quite a good amount of items to play around with, even though the game was 2D, using the Mode 7 concept to create depth and a 3D effect. Now what this means is that the background can some sort of lay flat and rotate, which creates a 3D world. But still, nothing is rendered in 3D, so the world is incredibly flat, which did limit them in some ways when making stuff for the game. One of the first items we see is the iconic banana peel. These can be thrown on the track, and when a cart hits one, it will spin out. This will obviously slow you down. However, the item itself isn't too special, and we also see it in literally every game. Although items like this one did get better later on, where you could also hold them behind you to defend yourself. And there are some other items similar to it in this game, like the Yoshi egg and fireball, which are similar in a lot of ways. But the eggs can hop while fireballs move around a bit. Well, actually, they're most likely not fireballs, because they also look a lot like the little Sparkies from Super Mario World. But we can't be sure if they really are those things, since the manual says otherwise. Another really well-known item seen in this title is the Super Mushroom, a classic, which has one small roll, giving you a speed boost so you can catch up. That's it. So as you can see, it's pretty straightforward. Now another thing we see in this game are shells, both red and green, which you can throw at enemies, with the red one following them automatically. Again, those are classics in the series and have always been a part of it, functioning as one of the best options to take out foes in front of you. Personally, I especially love the green one because hitting someone with it requires skill, and it even bounces off walls, which gives you even more options. In general, it's an item that can give good players a lot of options and can even create more chaos, since you can't always predict where it goes after bouncing off a wall. And all of this fits incredibly well in the game in my opinion. It's supposed to be quite a hectic racing game after all. Now the next item seen in this game is the feather, which you don't use to attack. It actually allows you to perform a high jump. And the cool thing about it is, you can go high enough to take normally impossible shortcuts, and you can sail over any obstacles and racers. So it allows you to pick a more interesting and faster route, as well as use it to defend yourself, making it extremely useful, if you time it correctly at least, because not everyone knows how to properly use it, but that's what makes it a good item. If you know, then you can be the one to use it for a shortcut and win. Now for the next one we will look at the most powerful item by far, the star, which provides two big benefits, allowing you to receive a constant speed boost, and you're invulnerable to everything, while being able to hit others with your glowy powers. This is clearly the ultimate item in the game, and it's only in the game to help players who are doing badly in a race, and also to have fun with. So personally, I like it. Now the next one is the ghost, which turns you transparent for a few seconds and steals an opponent's item. Again, a very defensive item, but what's good about it is that you get a new option afterwards. Once it runs out, you're ready to strike again. And the next one is the lightning bolt, that actually shrinks all the players except for the one who uses it. This makes them slower and vulnerable to being squashed by normal-sized players. So it's an item that screws everyone over, and also resets the race in a way, because you lose any item you're holding. So everything is even all of a sudden, and the one who uses it has an advantage for a while. And then the last item in the game is the poison mushroom. This thing is like a trap. If you place it and someone runs into it, they shrink. So overall, it's just something to avoid. But interestingly enough, if you're already small, it can actually help you, since it will turn you back to your normal size. So there is more to it than meets the eye. And those are all the items we saw in the first game. Clearly a lot of traps, offensive tools, power-ups, and race resets. All to make the race more exciting and keep unpredictability high, so that everyone keeps doing their best and no one can just rest easy. Some of these items were even tied to certain characters and exclusive to them, which is a pretty good idea. It made them more special, but sadly enough, that was something that didn't stick. However, in the next game, a lot would change. Nintendo made a more powerful console that could create 3D graphics after all. So how did this affect items in the game? Well, they actually got rid of a lot of items, and made different versions of already existing ones. For example, the Fireball, Yoshi Egg, and Feather are no more, which is understandable. Some of them are just too similar to each other, and in the end they replaced them with more powerful versions of other power-ups, like the Triple Red Shells or Super Mushroom. So in the end, we didn't get anything new in this Mario Kart game, just better versions of others. They probably did this because they saw which items were the most popular and worked the best, and got rid of those that didn't fit. Some items like the poisonous mushroom were slightly changed, turning them into a fake item box, which just made them a more effective trap. So nothing new really. Well, there was one thing that's truly new. The very rare Spiny Shell. These travel along the ground and go for players in first, while also hitting anyone along the path. This new item is clearly a big problem for good players. All of a sudden, a huge threat like that can come after them. So again, Nintendo added something to make sure no player could just hang back while racing. Oh no, being first just got a lot harder. However, after this, things became a bit stale. It was clear that Nintendo had picked up their favorite items, and so they were going to use them. Because of this, the next title, Mario Kart Super Circuit, had absolutely nothing new to offer in terms of items. Only the red shells changed a bit. You could now place them down and other racers could drive into them. And while this was quite cool, it sadly enough didn't stick around. But the next big game for the GameCube did do some amazing things when it comes to items. They introduced special ones for the characters in the game, which is a really cool idea in my opinion. In the end, they introduced a total of 9 items that are tied to specific characters in the game. The fireballs for the Mario Brothers, heart for the princesses, eggs for Yoshi and Birdo, a chain chomp for the Mario Brother babies, huge shells for the Koopas, a gigantic banana for the ape duo, a huge Bowser shell for our favorite villains, a big bomb for the Odd Brothers, and a powerful golden mushroom for the Toad couple. All these items are incredibly powerful and you can only get them every now and then, but it does make the game a lot more fun. The characters you choose are more special now. It's not just the speed that matters, but also their special item, because it's a huge game changer. And all of them also have a completely different effect, being able to protect you, attack others, or give a speed boost. They are really cool and on a completely new level, making it quite an exciting and refreshing addition to the game. But sadly enough, this idea didn't last. In the next games, this mechanic wasn't a thing, which does make me sad to be honest. Anyways, while this mechanic is gone, they did add 2 new items in the next title, Mario Kart DS, and they're classics by now. The first is the Bullet Bill, which transforms you into a bullet bill that soars through the air along the track, knocking over carts along the way while going really fast. This is mostly used for people to catch up, while also potentially getting rid of any players you go past. Again, Nintendo adds power-ups like this to make sure people can come back from any attacks or setbacks. They want the game to be dynamic. People who are last always need a chance to get back on top, while people in first must always fear falling behind others again. It's quite clear that Nintendo wants this to be the case. We've seen it in a lot of games after all, even the most recent one. Here you get better items to further you're behind the person in first. Now the other item that they added actually did something which should have been in the games a long time ago, blocking the driver's vision, because the bloopers spray ink on all of the carts, obscuring the view of almost everyone. This item can be extremely effective, especially when driving along a dangerous piece of the track. I will say it's extremely effective and fits very well into the game. In my opinion, this item together with the bullet bills are one of the best additions to the game ever. One adds a new temporary hazard that can help the one who uses it, and the other messes with the one thing you need the most, your eyes. So I will applaud Nintendo for taking a good look at the games to figure out what items would be fun and effective. Now in the next title for the Wii, which is the companion game, they added 1 alternative item and 1 completely new one. A new version of the Thunder was added, this time being a cloud that hovers above your head, giving you extra speed. but at some point it goes off and you will get hit with thunder. But now comes the most interesting thing. If you bump into someone, it will go over to them, allowing you to get a speed boost and then dump it on someone you want to get rid of. It's a cool mechanic and adds some pressure to the whole thing, because while you do go faster, you got to get rid of it at some point, which can result in some tense and fun scenarios. And the one completely new item is the Pow Block. It pops up above your head, and once it goes off, all carts except the user spin out and lose all their items. But if you're off the ground, you will be fine. Again, this is one of those reset items, wiping the board clean like a thunder does. But if you're good, you can escape this fate, which is a nice touch. But we almost forgot about another one, the Mega Mushroom, that was originally from the new Super Mario Bros. Game. This one was also in Mario Kart now, and as you can imagine, it made you huge, allowing you to go faster and even squash people. Overall, it reminds me a bit of a reverse thunder, making it a force to be reckoned with. It's also similar to a later item, the Bullet Bill, which also allows you to go faster and hurts others along the way, turning the player into some sort of hazard. So it helps one and creates a tense scenario for the others. Not bad, Nintendo! And now we get to the last games, Mario Kart 7 and 8, which are the most recent that almost all of us still play. These ones added quite a lot of items, with 2 not really being new, but at least 4 of them did do something we haven't seen before. The Boomerang Flower, which allows you to throw a boomerang twice, while hitting people on the way back as well, the Super Leaf, which can be used to deflect items, knock over people and collect coins, the Piranha Plant, which chomps at people and gives you a speed boost, and the Super Horn, which destroys anything around you, even Spiny Shells. So mostly offensive and defensive items, with the Super Horn being the most important by far in my opinion. Before that, there weren't really any counters against the Spiny Shell, so that item was a real game changer, while the others are fun, but they won't leave a permanent mark on the series in any way. But still, I like them. The Piranha Plant, for example, is very similar to the Bullet Bill, but this time you decide the pacing and direction, while the other 2 are just standard defensive and offensive items. Clearly, Nintendo has experimented with quite a bit of items, and quite quickly they created a set of base items that would be seen in almost every game, and every time a new title comes around the corner, they would add to them, taking a lot of inspiration from the Super Mario games, especially new ones. So, who knows? Maybe we will get some Super Mario Odyssey items next. Who knows? Thank you so much for watching this video. Be sure to leave a like and a comment, naughty or nice, and click in the upper right corner for more videos.